2025 was a year of fast change and growth for the Washington County Sheriff's Department. This comes from its sheriff, Mark Warden. Our Cassidy Fury took a deep dive into the progress with Sheriff Warden to highlight the positive impact he has had in his first year as sheriff of Washington County.
2025 was a time of massive changes and upgrades for the Washington County Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Mark Warden said the department went above and beyond to help him usher in his first year as sheriff.
I have to look back and commend the employees of the Washington County Sheriff's Office. You know, I could look at each division and pick something out of each division and say this is the most memorable part. But in reality, it's the changes that I have made in that first year. Some of them were seismic shifts in regards to how we do business. And I know some of my administrative staff probably thought, whoa, we got to put the reins on this guy. You know what I'm saying? Because I was wanting to do a lot quick.
The Washington County Sheriff's Department faced lower funding than the previous year, but managed to come out well within budget.
When we were faced with what we had, we made it work. Not only did we make it work, but we did better.
Sheriff Warden touched on all 4 goals he set for himself and the department since he was sworn in January of 2025 and has achieved even more.
You know, the fact that we brought on a full staff on our criminal division and our carrier reserve is right where we want it to be, and everything that we've done, I'm really ecstatic about that.
Sheriff Warden is specifically proud of the efforts made to bring programs to the Washington County Jail to give inmates true resources for rehabilitation and character development.
And I told people in my campaign that this won't cost the taxpayers a dime out of the budget. And our peer-to-peer program is a voluntary program, but it's changing lives.
One of the biggest changes that impacts citizen and officer safety is the ability to cross state lines to help another officer in the line of duty.
I had a phone call from Rick Woodyard, Sheriff of Wood County, and he says it just went through their legislation. They actually got it changed in their wording that they can actually come across and help.
Sheriff Warden said 2025 was a year for growth and change in the Washington County Sheriff's Department, and the efforts of the department have not gone unnoticed.
I mean, I'm just in awe of what we've done in 2025. And again, and I say that, and I emphasize we.
The changes are certainly not over, said Sheriff Warden, as he continues his goal of creating a mounted patrol unit, building community watch programs that involve seniors, and educational events that keep the citizens of Washington County involved as we go into 2026. Reporting from Marietta, I'm Cassidy Fury with WTAP News.